When someone with Asperger's is in a state of crisis, there's usually a very big issue. When we're talking about autism, you never know. But in specific, when we're talking about what's considered high functioning autism, yeah, if we're freaking out, there's a reason. The judicial system has made a rather large business out of victimizing the victims. Same thing with the hospitals. If you try to go to a police officer about one of his fellow officers, they automatically start doing what? Covering their tracks. Now, obviously, there's a lot of y'all who've seen me have meltdowns on my YouTube channel. I never wanted to go to YouTube or Facebook. Now I have to go to YouTube and Facebook before I ever go to the cops. Because I have to make sure it's documented in case they do something screwed up, like antagonize me, intimidate me, arrest me, assault me, and ship me to another county so that I can't turn them in. With Scott DaCosta, I shouldn't have to go to him or his department after what they've done. No such thing as integrity when you're a police officer. Yesterday, I was able to get the same officer who, when I had to go to him by myself, was telling me, oh, well, how do we know you didn't manufacture that? Well, that very same officer yesterday, with someone present, had an entirely different mannerism about him. And I would like to thank the man who did that, the man who sat down with me to speak to the police. But as he told me, he said, I'm not your man. I get that. He, like many people, want to throw housing in my face. You ruined your chances at housing. Motherfucker, if you ain't gonna listen to what happened there, then you don't get to have an opinion. If you're not going to allow me to tell you what that situation was, you don't get to judge me for it. You don't get to judge me for table talk here in town. If you're going to judge me, I'm going to judge you back. Now, with this man, I have chosen not to go passing judgment on him on YouTube. Matter of fact, I'll be back there next Sunday. Of course, it took about 30 minutes of trying to get him to stop talking and listen to me. He kept on interrupting me, as everybody does. I'm used to it. With all the rumors that I've had to deal with and the fact that I was never allowed to defend myself against any of them, yeah, I deal with this all the time. I had to deal with the same thing with Paulie Olson throwing the housing thing in my face. I wouldn't have had to do that if somebody would have actually spoken up. The issue with Laura Nelson isn't that she didn't do anything at all to help me. It's the fact that she never spoke up. The issue with Miss Peaches isn't that she never did anything to help me. It's that she never spoke up. Now, after I've gone through literally years of hell because Miss Peaches never spoke up, she wanted to throw a fucking tantrum at me and then cut me off after slandering me. Well, fuck you, Peaches. You claimed you loved me. You claimed you were my friend. You claimed that you would help me. But then what was more important to you, helping me or doing drugs? Now, let's take a look at this. How many drugs did Miss Peaches do while I was there? She didn't. She wasn't drinking while I was there. She wasn't on heroin while I was there. She wasn't doing methamphetamines while I was there. She was just getting stoned and selling weed, which is stupid. I mean, who are you going to sell weed to? The only person that you're going to be selling weed to in Colorado is either A, people who can't get to a dispensary, which they're all over the fucking place, or B, children. Did I see Miss Peaches sell any marijuana to children? No, I didn't see her sell any of it. I heard her talking about it. I mean, when she went to the dispensary for Dawn, her upstairs neighbor, she delivered it to his house. And then he came down and he smoked it with us. The thing is that I don't get heard. My dad, when he found out that I was autistic, before that, it was always bragging about how intelligent I am. And then afterwards, it was no matter what, everything was my fault. If I got assaulted at school, it was my fault. Well, I was getting beaten up at school because I'm weird. You know why I'm weird? Because I got Tourette syndrome. I was doing this. Yeah, people beat me up for that. This whole time I've been trying to get help in person. The problem is that I can't. The help that I need, it requires somebody to be my guardian, to protect my rights. This is how disabled people are treated. If you have Asperger's, you are screwed. Nobody is going to listen to you. You don't matter. You are not a human being. It is compounded further if you are a male, and even further than that if you're homeless. Every judge in America knows this. There isn't a single judge in the United States who does not take part in this money-making scheme. Because of the conduct of police towards me, I have to have somebody there in person. And they have to listen. Actually have to listen. The guy I went to for help yesterday wasn't real good at listening. He had his own take on things, and there was no setting it different in his mind. Thank goodness, though, I wasn't asking him to take part in the conversation. I wasn't asking him to lie. I wasn't asking for him to talk about things that he knew nothing about. The thing is, I went to Nicole Peralta for help. That's my therapist here in Nebraska, or was. I don't have the money to jump through the hoops that the courts want me to jump through. And that's before I ever even get to enter a plea. Meanwhile, they keep on making it their word versus mine. That's why cameras have to be present in the jails and the volume has to be on, and those officers have to be prevented from being able to destroy that evidence. There's a lot of people whose phone numbers that I need to have access to, but I don't. I don't have access to it. Why is that? Because of an assault yesterday. See how fucked up that phone is? Now I had the assault by that child molester yesterday on this phone. The assault is on this phone, but I don't have access to show it. It's fucking cold in here. On the bright side, it's a lot warmer in here than it is outside, and there are a lot of people who are outside tonight. There are a lot of homeless people outside tonight, even colder than I am. And me, I got access to blankets. I got some extra clothes I can put on. Well, when I came in from outside, it was a lot warmer in the house, and I didn't bother to put on a jacket before coming upstairs. My fault. If you don't have any money, the police are going to prey on you. If you don't have the money to hire a civil lawyer, they know that they can get away with committing crimes against you, like what Waylon Lolatai did. They were trying to frame me for murder. They knew that they had nothing on me, but they wanted me to be guilty. I needed help. But then again, no officer is going to investigate it. Why would they? Their job isn't to investigate crimes. Their job is to show up afterwards and assign blame. Judicial blame has nothing to do with right or wrong. It has to do with money. Feria. That's it. The next video I make is going to be about the situation in the last 3 weeks. Last month. A little over a month, I guess. That includes the situation with Star Mejia. And that includes the situation with Sheriff DaCosta. All these guys had to do was prevent me from making a report by repeatedly harming me and charging me with crimes until the statute of limitations was up. I had a lot of evidence on telephones that were stolen or lost. But the thing is, I had tried repeatedly to get one of these officers, someone, to do something about this evidence. I got to try to get a hold of a woman who lives in Sydney. Her name is Molly Smith. She used to work at Pumpkin Pantry. She's got to have another surgery. So the USB drives that she has, or USB drive that she has, I got to get a hold of. A lot of people don't like that I put it on the internet. Well, I don't have the money to go jumping through all the legal hoops to do it the right way, especially when every time that I've tried to do it the right way, I have had police officers step in front of that and prevent it from happening. When somebody is disabled, they have to have someone go in with them. There are no services anywhere for that. They're supposed to be. I didn't have the ability to record most of these situations at the very beginning, and the police made sure that they turned off their cameras in every single instance. Then they coordinated across multiple jurisdictions in order to cover their own asses. But then I can't bring that up in court. I'm not allowed. The judicial system is not set up for justice. It's set up to victimize the victims. Like that little girl who's cutting on herself. She's cutting on herself because her daddy molested her, and everybody knows it. Or at least everyone should. That little girl, she cut on herself. It's a two-part thing. It's not just daddy molesting her, or her brother, or her uncle, or her grandfather, or whoever it happens to be. Now, the good thing is, I got this computer right here that I don't have the proper plug-in for. However, oh my God, it hurts. Y'all got no idea how much money I have spent on recording devices so that I can record these situations. They keep getting lost or stolen. That must be my fault, right? No, when you're homeless, all of your stuff gets stolen. There is nothing that you can do about it. You got to keep your stuff with you at all points in time. I got a screwed up back and I'm homeless. I got no way to accomplish this crap. Now, one of these here, this one right here, I believe, is the one that I need. We shall see. Yes! It is the one that I need. People had two choices. They could either come forward and tell the truth in the court, or I go to the internet. That was the thing with Natalie. I didn't want to go to the internet, but it didn't matter what I wanted, because I'm not a pretty girl with lots of support. People assumed my guilt and then fucking sat on that shit. And when they realized that I wasn't guilty, well, they went out of their way at every step of the way to hide the fact that they did illegal shit over and over and over. And I can't get somebody to do anything about it because I'm homeless. Every single homeless person in America is victimized. Every one. This thing ain't gonna work. Uh, oh. Oh my God. So I got to go through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of audio recordings to find all the parts that I need for court. But I am in a constant state of panic. That makes it difficult to function. The reason I am in a constant state of panic is because there is nobody to protect me, and I can't protect myself. I can't defend myself. The things that I was trying to get from Cindy, If I'd have had somebody there and present on my behalf, not somebody who works for the government and will make excuses for other people who work for the government, but someone who actually cared about me. Laura Nelson obviously doesn't give a shit about me. I mean, I have heard so much bullshit about everybody in town who talks to her because she just runs her mouth nonstop about everybody. Well, now she doesn't. Now, when I'm there, she keeps her mouth shut. That's good because I really don't want to hear a bunch of fucking rumors about everybody in town from Laura fucking Nelson. See, Laura Nelson vented to me about all of her bullshit. I needed her help, and she was busy feeding me a bunch of bullshit about everybody in town. I don't give a fuck about everybody in town, Laura. You should have spoke up. Right after Natalie died, David and Laura Nelson took me to my appointments at the Colorado Coalition of the Homeless. They drove me to Todd Ryan Case's house in Niwot, him and Chloe. When I went to Candace's, there was a lot of issues there, a lot of them. Most of them surrounding the fact that I really can't talk about the shit that I need to talk about because I got to talk about rape and murder and child molestation. But Candace isn't going to tell the truth. She did something fucked up. All she's got to do is hide. So I need to subpoena her. Meanwhile, she can't be subpoenaed. She moved out of county. She moved to a different state. She lives in Nebraska now. These people don't like that I recorded them and posted it on the internet. Well, they had every opportunity to come forward. They had every opportunity to tell the truth in court, to go in with me to talk to the police. They had every opportunity. When you are autistic, going to a police officer is unsafe right off the top. You have to have someone there and present. These officers that I was trying to turn in went out of their way to try to have me diagnosed as schizophrenic. Well, excuse me, you're not a fucking doctor. Officer, you are not a doctor. But I have to be afraid to make a police report. Meanwhile, the jails, they prevent you from being able to use the phone unless you have money. And they say, oh, well, you can call your public pretenders. It's free. Not if it's Zoe fucking Tanner. Zoe Tanner doesn't work for the public pretender's office. In every one of these cases, it needs to be brought up that I tried as hard as I could, but I have to go in alone every time. And they turned off their body cameras, making it their word versus mine. How is that fucking acceptable? A lot of people are mad at me because I didn't take the time to sit there and edit out their pictures at the top of some of the stuff that I posted. You know what? After Natalie died, I was fucking homeless. I was on the streets being victimized, and I couldn't go to the fucking cops. I tried. And I get it. Candace didn't want to be victimized by people. Now, Sarah Rubiolo, I suppose I should actually make a video about her next. The FBI should have been involved a long time ago. I had to depend on others. And those other people who were on fucking drugs did a lot of screwed up shit. Why did I have to go to druggies? Because I had to be afraid to go to the fucking cops. Christine Buhik gets all messed out of her fucking gourd, starts coming down and fucking flips shit while I'm in Hardin, Wyoming. Sorry, Hardin, Montana. How many states have I had to go to? How am I supposed to take care of myself with all of my money going to travel into the courts? Fuck, I need a new back. I got 3 computers. Amanda Balehash is now a judge in Adams County. That's the county that Natalie was killed in. So she can't be prosecuted for any of these crimes. Wait, actually, she can. She can. Because the crimes that she committed, she was not a judge at the time. She was a public pretender. I don't have the money for a real lawyer. And I don't have an advocate in person to help me with these things. I cannot organize all of this. There is no way in hell. I'm not technologically savvy, and they have taken advantage of this every step of the way. The fact that I had to go back to my predators for help, people who I got rid of in 2016 while I was in Virginia, I was done with them. I was done with Lana and Amanda Engeline. I was done with Jerry Sparks and Tyler Frericks and Jenny Frericks. There's a lot of stuff that I'd like to show that was on those phones that were stolen and lost. Being tortured into making a guilty plea, that's fucked up. I literally have to break the law if nobody goes in with me. If somebody is harming me and I have to go in by myself, I have to break the law to make sure that it's at least fucking documented. David and Laura Nelson did some fucked up shit. A lot of it. They need to be subpoenaed. Candace Bondurant needs to be subpoenaed. This needed to be a federal case from the start. It had already taken place in multiple jurisdictions before Natalie was killed. Not only that, we're talking about people who are violent. Not someone like me who is not violent at all. You got to put drugs in me to get violence out of me. I don't do drugs for a fucking reason. I quit taking pills December 14th, 1997. I was on lithium and ORAP. ORAP is also called Pimozide. It's used for 2 things. One of them is a very, very, an extremely rare form of schizophrenia. The other one is Tourette syndrome. Which one do I have? Do I have schizophrenia or do I have Tourette's syndrome? We got small towns like this aren't safe after a dilemma like this. They're not safe. Now, I came back here for help because there were people in town who I thought actually cared about me. People like Brenda Dickinson, who doesn't. Not my fault. That's the thing about Christians. Christians are the most judgmental people I know. It's okay for them, but it's wrong for you. Fucking disgusting.